And so it'd be silly to tell people, yeah, don't worry about it. You're not his target. Don't think for a minute that because it happened to the Guthrie family, you're safe. No,
The disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie has officially crossed the 45-day mark. And as the desert sun sets over Tucson, the mystery is growing darker and more politically charged by the hour. For weeks, the court of public opinion was ruthless, fueled by a single burning suspicion. Did the family have something to do with it? In every high-profile kidnapping, the standard law enforcement playbook is to look at the inner circle first. We watched as Savannah Guthrie, a woman whose face is synonymous with national news and professional composure, slowly began to crumble under the relentless weight of the investigation. We saw her sister, Annie, make desperate, tearful pleas. Yet, despite their grief, many remained skeptical. People speculated about inheritance disputes, hidden family secrets, or even a cover-up stage to protect a reputation. Today, that entire narrative has been dismantled in a definitive and jarring way. The family has passed the test. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has officially confirmed that both Savannah and Annie Guthrie, along with Tommaso Cioni, the man who last saw Nancy alive, have cleared voluntary polygraph examinations and provided airtight alibis. The inside job theory is effectively dead, but this revelation creates a terrifying vacuum in the investigation. If the people who loved her most weren't involved, then who stepped out of the shadows on the night of February 1st? Who was the masked man caught on camera? And how did he execute a kidnapping so surgically clean that even the FBI's elite forensic teams are struggling to find a single actionable lead? To understand why the focus has shifted, we have to look at what investigators call the wall of cooperation. Often, in cases where family members are guilty, there's a delay in reporting, a wall of silence from lawyers, or significant inconsistencies in the timeline. In the Nancy Guthrie case, it was the exact opposite. Savannah Guthrie didn't just cooperate. She opened every door. FBI analysts spent weeks scrubbing phone logs, bank records, and private emails, finding nothing but profound grief in a frantic, multi-million-dollar effort to bring her home. Even Cioni, who had dinner with Nancy at the Ventana Canyon Club just hours before she vanished, was cleared after surveillance footage and GPS data confirmed his timeline down to the second. The Pima County Sheriff's Department has officially moved the family from the list of suspects to the list of victims. This confirms a chilling reality. Nancy was hunted by a predator from the outside who knew exactly when she would be alone. While the family is now in the clear, the man leading the investigation is facing a crisis of his own. As of March 18, 2026, Sheriff Chris Nanos is facing a massive recall effort. Public outrage over the lack of progress has boiled over, and a recall petition was officially filed on March 12th. To move forward, 120,000 signatures must be collected. Critics, including Republican congressional candidates, have labeled Nanos an embarrassment, citing everything from alleged misrepresentations in his online biography to his decision to go to a basketball game while Nancy was still missing. Recent investigative reports have alleged that Nanos claimed a bachelor's degree in his early career that he may not have possessed, leading to a credibility crisis that is haunting the department. Perhaps most controversially, Nanos chose to send DNA evidence to a private lab in Florida rather than the main FBI lab, a move that many believe caused critical delays. Let's look closer at the kidnapper, who remains a phantom. We've all seen the grainy doorbell camera image, the masked figure in tactical gloves, standing with a chilling, calm posture. But it's what we did not see that tells the most haunting story. Investigators discovered a digital anomaly on the night of the abduction. At approximately 3:45 a.m., multiple smart devices in Nancy's immediate neighborhood went offline simultaneously. Nancy wore a sophisticated Bluetooth-enabled pacemaker designed to send real-time heart data to a medical hub. That signal was severed abruptly. This suggests the kidnapper was likely carrying a high-end signal jammer. This wasn't a random thief. This was someone with the technical expertise to black out a house and bypass modern security systems before ever stepping onto the porch. In a desperate bid to find her, the FBI is now utilizing signal-sniffing technology. This specialized gear is designed to detect the specific electronic frequency emitted by Nancy's pacemaker. Private investigators say that if Nancy is within a certain range, even if she is being held in the basement or a remote cabin, this technology could potentially ping her location. However, the range is limited and without a specific area to sweep. It is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Then there's the detail of the gear. The suspect was seen wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack, a budget-friendly backpack sold at Walmart for under $40. FBI profilers believe this was a calculated red herring. A professional kidnapper wouldn't wear high-end, identifiable tactical gear that could be traced back to a specific military supplier. They were what is common. They were what allows them to blend into a crowd. The use of a cheap mass-market backpack suggests the kidnapper was intentionally trying to look unremarkable. Even while acting with military-grade precision, it is a gray man theory in action, appearing so ordinary that you become invisible. The lack of a DNA match remains the most frustrating hurdle. Sheriff Nanos recently described the forensic evidence as a forensic nightmare. The DNA recovered from the Guthrie home is what experts call a mixed profile. This means the genetic material of at least 3 different people is physically tangled together in the sample. Current forensic software is struggling to deconvolute these strands to create a clean profile because the direct DNA didn't trigger a hit in CODIS, the National Criminal Database. The FBI has pivoted to investigative genetic genealogy. They are currently scanning public genealogy databases like GeneMatch, looking for the kidnapper's third cousins or distant aunts to build a family tree that leads back to the suspect. The message to the perpetrator is clear. You might have jammed the Wi-Fi, but you cannot jam your own biology. As we move into the 7th week, the FBI has returned to Nancy's neighborhood with a new focus. Reports indicate agents are intensely interested in a specific home that was under construction nearby at the time of the disappearance. They have been seeking the names and contact information of every crew member who worked on that site. This points toward the service stalker theory, the idea that someone with a legitimate reason to be in the area was actually using that access to scout Nancy's habits. They are also looking into neighbors who moved out shortly before or after February 1st. Beyond the physical search, a digital war is being waged. Cyber forensics teams are scouring the dark web, monitoring for any mention of Nancy Guthrie in forums where high-value targets are discussed. Early in the case, several cryptocurrency ransom demands were sent to the Guthrie family. While the FBI initially dismissed these as clout-chasing scams, they have recently reopened the digital investigation. They are tracking a series of Monero transactions, a privacy-focused cryptocurrency, that allegedly occurred on the same night as the kidnapping. If these transactions can be linked to a local IP address in Arizona, it could provide the first digital fingerprint of the kidnapper. 3 primary profiles have now emerged from the FBI's behavioral analysis. The first is a service stalker, a contractor or worker who studied Nancy's routine. The second profile is a professional asset grab. Given Savannah Guthrie's fame, some believe Nancy was taken for leverage. However, the lack of a verified ransom demand after 45 days makes this theory increasingly unlikely. The third, and perhaps most frightening, is a dark desert predator, a localized survivalist who knows the hidden, rugged trails of the Santa Catalina Mountains. This person may have chosen Nancy because her home sat on the edge of the wilderness, providing a quick, silent escape route into the desert where no camera could follow. The political climate in Pima County is making the search even more complex. As the recall petition gathers momentum, the case has become a weapon in the local elections. Republican candidates are demanding that the investigation be handed over entirely to the FBI, alleging that the sheriff's department is too distracted by internal scandals to focus on Nancy. Meanwhile, Savannah Guthrie has remained neutral, urging everyone to keep the focus on her mother, not on the politics of the badge. The reward for Nancy's return has now officially hit a staggering $1.2 million, with $1 million coming directly from the Guthrie family. This is more than a reward. It is a Hail Mary from a family that knows time is their greatest enemy. Savannah Guthrie has made it clear that the money is no questions asked. They just want their mother back. Hope briefly turned to horror earlier this week when a body was found in a canal near Phoenix, and another set of remains was discovered in the Tucson desert near Kolb Road. For several agonizing hours, The world held its breath as forensic teams moved in. Thankfully, medical examiners confirmed the remains were not those of Nancy Guthrie. While this provides a grim sense of relief, it highlights the reality of the search area. It is vast, unforgiving, and full of unrelated tragedies. Nancy is 84 years old and requires daily heart medication to survive. Every hour that passes makes the window for a safe return smaller and smaller. Savannah Guthrie's recent social media posts have shifted slightly in tone, moving toward a spiritual acceptance while maintaining a fierce demand for answers. She spoke of her mother dancing in heaven, if that is what the Lord has willed, but she remains in lockstep with the FBI to ensure the search doesn't go cold. This case is a terrifying reminder that even in an age of constant surveillance, someone can still vanish into thin air if the predator is calculated enough. But calculated doesn't mean perfect. Someone out there knows who bought that backpack. Someone noticed a neighbor, a husband, or a coworker acting strangely in early February. The more eyes we have on Nancy's face, the harder it becomes for her kidnapper to move in the shadows. We will continue to follow every lead and every update. We won't stop until Nancy Guthrie is found and the person behind a mask